In this video we're looking at the question, how many paths are there through a network between 2 points? And the algorithm we use is a little bit like the one we used in the last one, only in this case at each vertex in the network we're asking ourselves, how many ways are there of getting to this point? You'll always start off with a 1 in the first one because there's one way of getting to that point. Now to get to here, there's one way of getting there because you can only come in through here, and there's one way of getting here, there's only one way of getting here. To get to this point, there's only one way of getting there. Now I can't fill this one in yet because I need to know the values in this one here, but there's one way of getting to this one. Now how many ways of getting here are there? There was one way of getting here and one way of getting here, so that means adding these together there must be 2 ways of getting to this point. Either you can come in from here or you can come in from here. Now there were 2 ways of getting to this point, but one way of getting to that point. That would mean that to get to this point you could either come in from here, there were 2 ways of getting here and one way of getting here, there must be 3 ways of getting to this point. Now the 3 ways of getting here, to get to here we can only come in from here, that means there's still 3 ways of getting there. There was only one way of getting to this point, and so that means to get to this point there is only one way you can come in to get to that point. But to get to this point there was 2 here and 1 here, 3 ways of getting to this point. Now to get to B you could come in from here, so there's one way there, 3 ways of getting to this point and 3 ways of getting to this point, all added together there are 7 ways of getting to B from A. Okay, let's have a look at the next network. Always with this particular algorithm, we're asking ourselves how many ways of getting there. There's always one way to get to the starting network. Then from here into here there's just one way. You can only come in here. To get to here there's just one way and one way of getting to here. I can't fill this one or this one in yet because I don't know this one. I need to know this one first. Now there's one way of getting to there. Now to get to here, there's one way of getting here, one way of getting here. You could come into from there from either of those ways. There's 2 ways, so either that way or that way. 2 ways of getting there. There were 2 ways of getting here and one way of getting here, so that means there are 3 ways of getting to this point. Either you could come in from this direction by any of two methods, or you could come in this way by another method, 3 methods. This point here, there's 3 ways of coming in here and one way, add them together, 4 ways of getting to this point. This point here, you can only have come from there was one way of coming from there. These 2 added together though, to get to this point, 2 ways of getting here, one way of getting here, there are 3 ways of getting to this point. There are 3 ways of getting here, and that's the only way you can get here, so there's 3 ways of getting to that point. Now there's 3 ways of getting to this point and 4 of getting there, so there are 7 different ways to get to this point here. This one here, you can only come in that way, there's only one way you can get to that point. There are 3 ways of getting to this point and one way of getting to this, so that's 4 that way. What about this point here? Well, there are 4 ways of getting here and 3 ways of getting here, 7 ways of getting to here, and our last point B, there are 7 ways you can get to here and 7 ways you can get to here. That's 14 different paths you can use to get from A to B.